All right, Mark Kransz, let's do it.
Sounds good.
So I think I have to say welcome home. Welcome back to Michigan, right?
Yeah. It's been a bit.
It has been a bit. And I mean, you are a return guest on the podcast, but it's been years. You've been kind of doing your own thing in Virginia.
I think it's been like 6 years.
But before we talk about all that and your adventures and what you're going to do now, Ore to Shore, man, I was up there, you were up there.
Yeah.
So tell us about, is that like part of your trip home or trip out west? Like, so you decided to...
I mean, I'll get to the trip out west thing, and you'll ask about it eventually. Sure. But this was like kind of like a trip home type deal. Kind of just planned it in to come and do Ore to Shore, and was like, I'll show up. And I've had a rough few weeks since nationals as far as training goes. So I was like coming into it like, we'll find out how this goes. And I was just like, I'm just going to hold on for as long as functionally possible.
And the marathon nationals, right?
Yep. Yeah, marathon.
And that was like 3 weeks ago maybe, or?
Yeah, it was about 3 weeks.
Yeah.
That was rough.
That was in Virginia, right?
Yep, that was technically home trails for me.
Cool.
So it was in Roanoke. Yep.
Okay. Awesome
trail system, awesome trails. That event was phenomenal, honestly. Like USAC really pulled it together for that one.
So that it took a bit out of you, is that what you're saying?
Oh yeah. So it was the pros started at 7 a.m. We did 2 laps, and there's like pretty good substantial amount of climbing in it for how few miles there is. I think there was like 15 miles, but like 6,000 feet of climbing. Okay. I might be completely off by that. I was fried after that race.
It doesn't matter. It was hard. It was hard.
Yeah, it was hard. Honestly, the thing that was probably the hardest was I came into it 100% heat acclimated, ready to go, been just sweltering in the Virginia heat. And then you go into a race and you go as hard as you possibly can at 94 degrees, and it doesn't matter what you do, you're going to end up throwing up. And I found one out the hard way. I got really good at throwing up and riding.
oh man, how quickly did the regurgitation take place?
Pretty quick. I mean, honestly, it was like in the morning, it's fine. And then we came around for the second lap, and then the second lap, we kind of, at least for me, I was far enough back that I like popped out, and I think like the age group that was probably my age group that I would be in. So I'm like, I'll just keep up with these guys and like, clear a couple things that I know none of them would be able to clear, just because it's like, I'm a local, I'm just going to do it. I don't care. So I went probably a little too hard on the climb, get to the top of the climb and just pull over and start throwing. So I'm like, these guys that are like my age are like coming up the trail, and I'm just sitting there holding my bike to the side, just throwing up chunks. Yeah, just looking up and going, this is what pros do. It was so not good, but I was not the only one that day. My fiance also raced, and she was like, it was like a pandemic of throwing up. People were just on the side of the trail throwing up. People were just laying in the grass. It was kind of near like a lake, so people were out swimming. People straight up just stopped racing and just went and sat in the water.
What was it abnormally hot, or was it just the normal temperature?
It was just the normal temperature. Classic Virginia heat. It
hit differently.
Yeah, it's one of those things where it's either you have it or you don't, and even if you're one of the most trained, well-performing athletes, it's still going to hurt you.
I had a similar. This year's lumberjack was especially hot. Yep. Like probably one of the hottest in the last few years, and everyone went out as hard as they always do. It's like, lumberjack, they go out Iceman pace, and
it's also like it starts in the morning, so it's cooler. So it's like, I'm gonna get.
It was though. I think it was close to 80 in the morning, and the humidity was nuts. And then I think it was it got 90 or something, and it hit me like my body was overheated and it wouldn't allow me to work harder. Like every time I tried to get to a certain point, I just felt like I was just on fire.
Yep.
And so I just babied it in. And what took me like 7 hours, 15 minutes a year before. It took me like 9.5 hours this year. It just, I mean, heat, man. It just, I mean, I thought Ore to Shore was a little warm. But you probably thought it wasn't.
I thought it was fine. I actually, by the time when I was finishing and we hit North Trails, like actually right down near the reservoir where they have the dam, right in there, I actually started getting cold because you had the wind off the lake, and I was like, oh boy, this is this is actually kind of chilly.
Well, that's kind of, didn't the rain kind of start towards the end there too? A little bit.
So the rain happened about 30, 40 minutes after I finished. Okay. I missed it completely. I was looking on the radar in the morning, and I was like, oh, we are going to get slammed.
Well, you didn't beat me by that much, so I felt a little bit of rain, but like just a couple drops. But then I jumped into Lake Superior, and then it started pouring.
Yep. Because I went for like a cool down ride, and I was like up on 3rd Street, and I'm like coming down 3rd Street, and it just starts pouring, and I'm like riding downhill, and I got so cold. Yeah. I was freezing.
Yeah, I got cold. Superior was, so the day before, it was really warm there. I don't know when you got into Marquette.
Yeah, I was there the day before. And it was so hot.
We went up to the Black Rocks, and people are jumping in, and it was the water was perfect. And then wherever I jumped in, I mean, the next day it was like a cold plunge. I mean, it felt good, but it was a cold plunge. But Marquette, I mean, that's like kind of a welcome home thing for you too.
Yep.
I mean, you went to school up there. You know those trails really well.
Yeah. Back in my hand, pretty much.
How many times have you done Ore to Shore?
I think that was only my 4th time.
Okay. Well, that's quite a bit.
Yeah.
I feel like there's mixed opinions about Ore to Shore. Some hardcore mountain bikers may not like it because it's too much like a gravel race.
Yep.
But man, I love it, and it's like one of those things that it's about as hard as you want it to be, and if you want it to be hard, then it's full gas the whole time.
Yep.
And it can hurt, and it can be almost 3 hours of suffering.
Yeah. You can find out what you're made of in that race real fast.
So did the Nationals, did you feel that in your legs? Did you feel it in your body when you?
So it was less of like feeling Nationals. Like by that point in time, I was more than recovered from Nationals. So immediately after Nationals, I got like a summer cold or COVID or something, and I was bedridden. It was bad. I felt horrendous, and I think it was like a combination of being sick and then having heat exhaustion from Nationals. I was done.
Yeah.
And I think, what was it? It wasn't a week after. I think it was 2 weeks after. I still wasn't feeling like 100% even then, but I tried going and doing Wilderness 100. And I got like, I think 34 miles in. I was just like, if I go any further than this, I'm going to put myself in such a big hole that I will not be able to get myself out of by the end of the year. And I'll get to that later, but I did that last year, and I was like, I'm not doing it again. I'm just going to call it.
Yeah.
So then I haven't been training, I've just been trying to get slowly back into it.
Smart.
Just showed up to Ore to Shore and was like, we'll just hang on for as long as possible. Found out how long that was. It was about 7 miles to go.
7 miles to go. Well, that's pretty good.
Yeah, it wasn't bad. It was like one of the last climbs in Noki, and it was just going up it. And I was in the chase group at this point. The first group, they took off on luge. Like by luge, it was like, well,
really,
everyone else, we're just back here.
Oh my gosh!
And it was that, and it was just like, I just saw that group. They just left. They're gone. And I was like, well, this is as much as my legs could do right now. Perfectly happy with it. Yeah. I mean, I made it 40 miles of going really, really hard. In heat, honestly. I mean, it was still hot.
Yeah.
We definitely got rained on in like Ishpeming, and it stopped, and I heard a bunch of like thunder strikes, and that's when I was like, oh, we are so gonna get it hard, and it just never happened. I was like, okay, I'll accept that.
Well, what a different, like the night before, I didn't think it was supposed to rain, and everyone's saying like the course is dry, it's sketchy, it's dry.
Oh, it was definitely sketchy too.
Well, it was sketchy, but then it like poured rain the night, and then the weather forecast said it was going to, like, I saw 100% chance of storms while we were riding.
Yep.
But but it never like really happened.
No, it split and went right around us like perfectly.
Yeah.
it was odd.
Yeah. Well, how would you compare like the effort of that like almost 50-mile oar to shore to something like an effort of a mountain bike national marathon? Like are they what is it? Is it 100K?
Yeah, it's 100K.
So 65 miles.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, I would have to guess with the caliber that you're riding against, it's still like full gas the whole time.
It's still the full gas. Yeah. I mean, when you're up there, I mean, I finished 22nd, and that was right at the back of the chase group. And I mean, even in 22nd, I'm in like names that like anyone's gonna recognize. And even at that place, it's like, okay, I'm going as hard as I can, and I've just did this in nationals as hard as you can. It's even in World Cups as hard as you can.
Well,
it's all the same.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm sure the World Cup's being even shorter. It's like as redlined as physically possible.
Yeah. Well, I did the XCM, so they were all XCM World Cups have to be 4 to 6 hours in length, or they have to be 100K, which is like 62 miles.
Different than XCO,
Yep.
which is like the
short,
which would be like the Nino Schurter,
Yep.
you know, whomever. But then you're doing the marathon.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So let's kind of talk about that, because Mark, like, you're a guy that I know. I mean, locally here, you're pretty well known. You grew up, I don't know, 4 miles from where we're sitting right now, or 5 miles from Lansing. You know, when I moved up here, I mean, you were going to school in Marquette, but you were coming back and forth.
Yep.
And I knew you were doing some races like Crusher, and some Margie stuff and different things like that. But man, I kind of knew you as a guy that would come back, and then I would ride with you sometimes, or if you weren't here, I would try to get your KOMs. I would go get you out of all your home segments and things.
Then I have to come back and
then you would, you know, yeah. For the record, you would come back and take them back. And so yeah, I mean, like, we would ride together. You know, I knew you that way. You graduate, and then you go off, and not only do you do some cool things here in the States, but then you just start this whole other part of your bike life, your bike adventure. Like,
just went off the deep end pretty much.
And no long, I mean, you know, I think I remember you as a guy going after like the NUE series, or trying to think of what other like kind of local national series, but then I hear you're going to Europe. You're racing with European pros. You're doing UCI races. So let's back up to like when you moved to Virginia, when you started this whole adventure. I mean, I don't think I've really talked to you much since then, since the last few years, when you've really kind of just exploded.
Yeah, I mean, like, I feel like my breakout year was like 2019. Like with Crusher, I won Crusher. And I had so much fun that year. I was doing like all these super long races, and then COVID happened. So then it's like, well, now what do we do? And during COVID, I would like, I didn't have a job because I was still in school. So I would go out and just do like, I'll just do 100 miles a day for a week. Or I'll just bike pack from Marquette to Green Bay. And I was just like riding so much that it was just kind of dumb how much riding I was doing, but it was awesome.
I think a lot of people, when I look back, I think 2020 I had the most miles I've ever had in my life.
Yep. And I was like, this is great. This is a good year. And then it's like, I kind of had to like think of what I wanted to do, and I knew I wanted to go to Virginia, and basically I wanted to go down there and like train and ride my bike and like actually see how fast I can get. So I moved back into my parents for like a month, and then moved down there. And in the period of moving in with my parents and moving down there, it was like right after cyclocross nationals in Chicago, where I crashed really hard, gave myself a concussion, then moved in with my parents. First ride after being like cleared after the concussion, I actually got hit by a car.
Oh, jeez.
And then moved to Virginia. So I showed up there, and I'm like 190 pounds which is 40 pounds over what I've been. Like, I've been the same weight since high school, and I was 40 pounds over. So I'm like going up climbs going, okay, this is going to hurt. But I'm like, I move into the same town as Jeremiah Bishop. He's my coach. He basically whips me into shape.
So that's kind of your motivation for going specifically down to Virginia.
Yep.
Was because of Jeremiah being down there. Okay.
Jeremiah, and just like riding when it's in the middle of winter, not having like 20 feet of snow.
For sure.
You don't know if you're going to be able to do intervals or not, or what you're going to be doing. It's like, I just want to see how fast I can get. So I go and I do that, and unfortunately I also get bit by a dog while I'm down there and get like a bacterial infection. So like the first like 2 years that I'm down there, it's just like one thing after another. And it's like, you eventually just get used to rolling with the punches. And it's like, even though I'm like having these like setbacks, it's like, I'm still training a lot. I'm still figuring it out. And I mean, even going in the World Cup year, I actually took a really good digger in my knee and like needed stitches, didn't get stitches. Because it's like, if I had stitches, I wouldn't have been able to ride for 2 months. So I was like, I'm just going to put Vaseline on it and cover it up.
That sounds like a real young person mistake.
Yeah, I mean, doctor said it was fine as long as I kept it clean and no healing issues. But yeah, it's like last year I got to the point where it's like, I knew like what was it? It was 2024 was the first World Cup here in the U.S. for XCM, which was at Snowshoe. And I went and did that because it was like kind of like, why not?
Sure.
And I had a pro license. I figured I could get in. I haven't done too bad at like XCM racing here in the States. And they let me in, and I went and did it. And it was a great experience. There wasn't that many like European pros that showed up. It was mainly just a bunch of Americans.
Yeah.
And then the Europeans like 30 miles ahead of the rest of us, which is kind of normal when it comes to racing, I feel.
Yeah.
But then it's like, after that, it was like, I want to see like, just let's do a full World Cup season. Let's do it all. Let's do the full World Cup season. Let's do Pan American Championships, and let's do Worlds. Let's just find out. And the real reason why I wanted to do that was because Worlds was in Snowshoe. So it was like, okay.
So is it like full circle? Like, so
Yep.
but wasn't so the first one was in Snowshoe.
The first World Cup was in Snowshoe, which was like their test event.
Yeah.
Because they knew that next year, 2024,
they were going to have
was Worlds.
Okay.
Was going to be in Snowshoe. And then we actually had another World Cup in up in New York. So it was like, okay, train, get ready for all that, go into it, and just do it.
So the first one in Snowshoe that you went to, it's like, you know, you're like, why not?
Yeah,
and I get that, but there's also like, I mean, you said you had enough. I mean, did you have UCI points at the time, or like, but they let you in?
They let me in. I mean, I think at that point it's
what.
Just from the NUE and all that I've done, and just kind of prove that like that distance I'm able to do.
But there's still something about like, I don't know. I mean, it takes some balls to like be like, nah, I'm just gonna go do it and then line up with these pros. I mean, did like it like ever cross your mind, or like, maybe I don't belong here? Or you're like, no way, I just want to.
Definitely on the start line, it was like, boy, I don't think I trained enough for this. You start looking at the other guys you're near, and you're like, wow, okay, so we're doing this. Like at the World Cup in 2024, it was like, you're lined up, and I had a UCI point, so I wasn't at the very back. I was like mid-pack, and you're like looking around. It's like, well, there's Christopher Blevins. There's Victor Korecki. And you're like, okay, so we're in this now. We're just a small town farm kid. Okay, here we go.
So the first year, was it like a rude awakening? Was it yeah?
Yeah, very rude. Very, very rude. And it was like, there wasn't very many of us there. I think there was like 35. I finished like 26th.
Yeah.
So I've basically finished back with all the Americans. It was like I was mid-pack of the Americans. And you had like Carson Beckett, our national championship, and national champion, and all of them, and Jeremiah Bishop race. So it's like you have all these names, and then you have like the few Europeans that show up, and they're gone. The Europeans are gone. And it's like, you start looking at your time gaps between them and yourself, and it's like, I've raced NUEs for how long now, and it's like, okay, I'm not that bad at NUEs, and honestly, even when I go out to like a U.S. National XCM Championship, it's like, I'm not finishing that far off. I'm not finishing well, but you know, I'm there. Why not?
Yep.
Send it. Who cares? I'm having fun. It's a great time. And then you show up to a World Cup, and it's like, it's very humbling. And then at the same time, it's also like, for me, it was like, I need to train harder. Like, I want that level. I want to get there. How do I get there? And it's like spending a year trying to figure out how to get there.
So it was after that, I mean, yeah, it was humbling. It was inspiring. But after you finish, you're like, I want to do a whole year of this stuff.
Yep. I want to get into it. I want to figure this out. I just want to do it.
What time of the year was that? The first snowshoe? It was 2023
September
or something. Yeah.
Yep. It was like, I think it was the weekend of Margie.
Okay. So then you had essentially like a full kind of off season to get there.
To get into it and get there.
How was that conversation with Jeremiah where you're like, hey, train me up to do this next year?
I mean, he knew it was coming after we did the World Cup. He took a video of the World Cup while he was racing, and he was like right behind me going down the first descent. We're just having a blast. And it's like, now that I think back of it, it's like, it was so wild to have like, you know, your mentor and your training partner and your coach sitting right behind you, screaming at you as you're going down the first descent in a World Cup. And mind you, it was downpouring and you couldn't see anything. So great time.
No, that is a really cool moment though, I'm sure. And again, like the inspiring thing that kind of launched you into I guess what you're doing now.
Yeah.
So I have to ask, there's so many things that are barriers to say you can do a race and say, I want to do all these races next year. I don't even know technically what the barriers are in terms of like UCI letting you into those races. So I'm assuming that you have to prove yourself or get some points or whatnot.
Yep.
You can let me know about that. But then there's just the physical barrier of can my body actually do it?
Yeah.
And then there's like the barrier of like there's a financial barrier of travel, of support. So I really want to hear about that, but let's kind of go in that order. So tell me about the, like, just in terms of UCI, was that a difficult thing to be able to race all those in the next season? You
go through USAC. So you have to, you apply through USAC. Basically, like you can go on their website, you can find a spot where it'd be like qualifying for World Cups, like, and they pretty much like walk you through what it is. And like, if you don't have UCI points, you can just apply with like a race resume of like, hey, I've done X, Y, and Z races that are similar distances or similar to a World Cup, or even if you've done like a UCI XCO here in the States, something along those lines. And then if you have like, you know, UCI XCO points or something along those lines, you can transfer that and use that. And it basically just makes yourself look better. And you just send out the message and basically just wait to see if they let you in or not. And I mean, USAC, it's like what, there's like 10, 15 people that work there. There's not very many, but they have a lot of people asking questions. But at least when they like finally get to the point where they're able to answer your question, they're so helpful. Like they try really, really hard to at least like try and smooth things out, because it's like when you're first jumping into it, it's confusing. It's like it's almost overwhelming, like trying to figure out what it is, how to do it, where to go, and like you're asking questions, you're sending emails, and you're trying to like get help from them, and they're amazing as far as helping goes, like getting set up and getting there and getting to that point where it's like, okay, I'm entered into the race, I've paid for the race, now I just have to get there.
Okay, so now we're jumping to, now you just have to get there.
Now you just have to get there.
So how the hell did you get there?
Well, so the very first World Cup I did, And mind you, before this, I've only ever been out of the country once.
Okay.
And that was for an NUE race back in like 2016. I did the Volcano 100, and it was like my first weekend in college. Like I started college, and like, you know, you had your first like initial week where you're in college. That weekend I flew to Costa Rica and I did an NUE race, and then I flew back and I was in class Monday morning.
Oh my gosh.
And then it's like I went from 2016 until last year before I ever left the United States, ever really tried doing any big races. And honestly, the Costa Rica thing didn't even compare to the World Cups. So it's like just buying the plane ticket was a big hurdle. I mean,
for sure.
The plane ticket to Austria was like $1,800 just to get there and get back. And it's like, well, you're doing that. So it's like, okay, so I'm flying by myself. I don't know anyone that's going to be there. I don't know any Americans that are going to be there. I'm not bringing any family with me. I don't know how, like, I'm going to have to basically do this unsupported.
Yeah.
Like, and not only am I doing the race unsupported, I'm also traveling in a foreign country unsupported. I'm showing up to an airport where, like, I don't know who speaks English.
Yeah.
A lot of them speak English.
Yeah.
I learned that really fast. But it's like, not every single gas station speaks English.
Yeah.
Not every single restaurant speaks English. You basically fumble around until you figure it out. And I mean,
my experience with all different places in Europe is they're used to Americans fumbling around.
Yeah.
You know, they're like, just like, okay, yeah, they give us a little bit of grace because we only speak English, you know. Yeah. That's it. But yeah, I can't imagine. I didn't realize that you did that totally solo, totally unsupported. So yeah, the ticket was a hurdle, but then you had to find lodging, right?
Yep, find lodging, and it was kind of like one of those things, especially with the lodging the first time. I mean, the lady that I stayed with, like, they had like it wasn't a hotel, there was like a restaurant, and they had rooms above the restaurant where you could stay. So it was a hotel, it's like a chalet type deal. I don't even really know. And it was maybe like 15 miles away from Novi Mesto Navarrete. But it was, when I was first applying to it, I was like, does this place even exist? I'm not 100% sure it exists. And is there going to be like a ton of random fees because I'm not paying in euros, or what's going on? And then it's like, well, what are the road rules? I'm driving. I'm not only am I driving in a foreign country, I'm driving between two foreign countries, and one of them isn't part of like the European EU thing.
Yeah.
And I knew, like, going into it, like they had checkpoints because they had like the immigration thing
you went
going
on. From Austria to
Czech Republic.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. And I had to drive through.
Nova.
Yeah, that was Novi Mesto.
Yeah.
Yep.
Which one of the most famous.
Oh, it was beautiful.
XCO course, but I guess XC. What do you call XCM?
XCM.
Yeah.
Yep.
XCM.
Yep.
But yeah, I think that was one of the. When we were talking with some friends, we're like, "Do you see Mark Kransz is at Nova Mesto?" Like, well, that's insane.
Dude, it was standing in the stadium and just realizing where you are, and then looking around. By the way, it's a lot different than what it looks like on TV as far as like actually sitting there and being there. Because I watched some of the XCO after I got done, but it was like, wow, I'm here. I'm doing this.
Yeah.
Still not sure I belong, but I'm here.
For sure. Well, there's only one way to belong. It's just to do it, right?
Yeah, that's it. And you just go. You just do it. And I mean, I'm not unfamiliar with just going and doing things. I mean, like a few years ago, I threw my gravel bike in a cardboard box, flew to Ireland, got off the plane, shoved my normal street clothes in a box. Well, not a box, but like a drawstring bag. Stuffed it in a rock that was near the airport behind some bushes, which is probably very sketchy.
Maybe illegal.
It may be illegal. And then I had like a ride with GPS route that I made, and I just followed it, rode around the country, 700 miles, just winged it, came back, and my clothes were still there. So,
oh my gosh,
why not? So that's kind of like how I was.
I remember when you did that, but I didn't realize that you just left your clothes in a. They probably thought it was a bomb or something.
I was honestly really surprised it was still there. I I probably shouldn't have done that, but I had nowhere else to put them. I didn't know what else to do.
That's funny.
So it's like I'm not adverse to just showing up and like figuring it out.
Yeah.
I did get a speeding ticket in Europe, in the Czech Republic. By the way, just so everyone knows, because I did not find this when I was looking like the road laws. When they say the city names, that means you need to slow down to like 15 kilometers an hour. And then when the city name it has an X through it, you can speed back up. I didn't know that. So they got a really good picture of me doing like 60 kilometers an hour and like 15. And that was a pretty hefty ticket, which was not cool.
On top of all the other expenses that that you had to pay.
And they didn't have my bike when I showed up either. My bike was still in Washington, D.C.
Oh, gosh.
So I had to, and it was 6 hours from Vienna to Novi Mesto, and I had to be there that first night to like check in, because that was the only time to check in. So I drove 6 hours, stayed at my hotel, waited till like 11 o'clock. I talked to some like Scottish guys and was like, they were like, if your bike doesn't show up, you can borrow one of our bikes. And honestly, that was another thing I found out was like the community at the World Cups is awesome. Like if your bike doesn't show up, somebody will have something for you to use, and you can at least do it.
Yeah.
Luckily, my bike did show up. I just had to drive 6 hours back the day before the race. So it ended up being like a 12-hour round trip.
Oh my gosh. That is insane.
You wake up 7 o'clock in the morning and you're like, okay, well, I'm here. I have no support crew. I don't really know if there's water on course. I have my hydration pack. I have one bottle. I have food. I guess I'm ready. And you go. I did run out of water. I did stop for water, and the water was green, and it was probably hydration mix, but in my mind, it wasn't hydration mix, and I threw up looking at it.
Oh my gosh.
So
what kind of support do like the top guys that are doing this? I mean, I know a lot of those athletes have mechanics. They have kind of a whole team around them.
Yep.
And then they're also like, are they getting a lot of hand ups and things, or are you allowed to? Is there like
there's a spot. So it's a designated location, and you can't
like a feed.
Yep,
zone.
It's a feed zone.
Yeah.
It's the same as like if you go to U.S. Cycling Nationals, there will be like feed zone start, feed zone end. This is the only spot, but these guys have like F1 style crews.
Yeah.
Like if they have a flat, one dude will pick up the bike, another dude will take out the wheel, another dude will put in a new wheel, drop it, and go. So it's wild to see that. Like even that logistic would be really wild to try and like figure it all out and find people that could do that for you. And I'm just imagining the plane tickets to get them there.
For sure. I mean, it's got to be so expensive, and that's when like sponsors come heavily into the equation.
Yeah.
Where you get tens of thousands of dollars from whomever.
Yeah.
And help you have a team, or create a team, or be part of a team, or whatever.
Yeah.
Did you have? I mean, I know you still say you ride for
Ergon, Carbo Rocket.
Okay.
Broken Spoke Bike Shop.
Well, I was gonna say Broken Spoke, but I didn't want to. I was hoping that was still a thing.
Yep. Yeah. No, it is. George helps me out a lot. I mean, the bike that he gave me, that's the only way I would even still be racing at this point.
Yeah.
Still running that broke college kid lifestyle.
Yeah.
I mean, student loans are expensive. What can I say?
Yeah.
But, I can't thank him enough, and even everyone else. And, I mean, George helps me out a lot through it, getting me there. I mean, like, doing all that. I mean, I paid for my own plane ticket. I paid for my gas. I paid for all that. He helped me with the race entry fees and, like, giving me the bike. And, I mean, the rest of it was just for me to figure out. I was just, throwing deep end. Why not?
Yeah.
Send it.
Yeah.
But, I mean, seriously, like, even that little bit of help is, like, to the moon for someone that's just trying to figure this out.
I would say even a little bit of help without it probably would have been impossible, right?
Oh, 100% impossible. Yeah. So really, I shouldn't be saying a little bit of help. It was astronomical how much help that is.
For sure.
Like, incredible.
So how many then races I will say out of the United States did you do last year?
So Novi Mesto, and then I think 2 weeks later I went to Brazil. 2 weeks after that was France, and then that was it. And then you had like a break, and then it was September, and then it was Worlds in snowshoe, and then in October, right around Hurricane Helene, only because I was freaking out because my fiance is back in Roanoke and Hurricane Helene was happening.
Yeah.
But I was up in Lake Placid doing the final World Cup. So I did a full season, including Worlds and Pan American Championships.
And is that the total amount? You did every single
that was all of them.
XCM race?
XCM.
When there's an XCO, is there always an XCM, or is the schedule a little different?
So for that year, there was a lot. They have changed it. The Discovery actually sold the XCM rights to a series in Europe, which then they've basically branded their races as XCM, which they look amazing. I unfortunately wasn't able to do any of them this year or go to Worlds, which is here in a few more weeks. But I mean, it's on the list for next year.
Where's Worlds this year?
It's in Switzerland.
Okay.
So, and that's going to be amazing. That's going to be mind-boggling, beautiful seeing that one. Next year is a little north of Venice, Italy. Is Worlds. So that'll be cool to see that one.
I believe that would be the Dolomites.
Yep.
Which is the Italian Alps.
Yeah.
Which I've ridden a little bit there. It's incredible.
Yeah.
So, it sounds like the learning curve is steep, but
manageable.
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 I will say, Mark, giving you credit, it may not be manageable for everyone. I mean, I think you have to kind of have I think
you got to be able to wing a lot of
attitude.
things.
Yes, correct. The attitude that you went into it with is like, I don't know, I'll figure it out. Not everyone is that way. So that would give some people like a panic attack.
I mean, when your bike doesn't show up and it's still 2,000 miles away.
I can't believe you did 12 hours round trip and then, jeez, oh Pete. But so racing all those 5 different races, it sounds like you still want to pursue more of them. And then what overall lesson, or were there small lessons you've learned along the way, or is it just same thing, I just got to keep my head down and grinding? What did you learn through a year of every single of these XCM races?
Well, I mean, I never finished last.
Cheers to that.
Does not mean I was very close, very far away from last, but I never finished last. And be honest, seeing the Europeans and seeing how fast they are, and just I mean, these guys are at Novia Mesto, it's first 10 minutes of the race, 450 watts. That's it. Full gas. That's it. And to be 100% honest, I'm not 100% sure they slow down because that's when I stopped seeing them. So,
so you don't know.
I don't really know. But it's the drive to get there is fierce. And it's I don't know how much longer I'll be able to do this, especially at this level, especially be able to get this fast and stuff. But it's I have the opportunity. Why not?
Yeah.
Send it. Have fun.
What was the hardest of those 5 races?
The hardest one, sleep-wise, was definitely Brazil. That one was a culture shock for sure, being there. But the hardest race would have been Maghreb in France.
Okay.
That was 63 miles and 18,000 feet.
Oh my God.
It was straight up. And I mean, like I was telling you right before this, my fiance was looking up the route, trying to figure out how much the climbing is. We knew it was hard, but what was it? And then we saw that and we're wow. And then she was looking at some of the Strava segments through there and clicked on one of the road segments, and Tadej Pogacar was the KOM on one of the road segments, followed by Matteo and then Remco. So it's okay, so we're in interesting company while we're doing these things.
For sure. Man. You had an interesting year last year.
Yeah.
This year has sounds like it's been busy, but now it's even more busy because you're moving to the other side of the country.
Yeah.
So you want to talk a little bit about, so we've talked about what you've done in the past. Now what does your future look like in the next, 12 months or so?
So, I mean, part of the reason why I just didn't want to do any World Cups was this year was it took a lot out of me.
Mm-hmm.
By France, I was dead. I was in a hole. The hole was very deep. And magically, I think the next weekend after France, I went and did XCO Nationals and finished dead last, way worse than I did the year before, and was like, wow, I'm done. Like, I'm fried. Like, there isn't much more I can do at this point. And I think it took like till September before I started feeling like anything similar to where I was. And then it's like, while I was in France, I got engaged. So then it's like, okay, well, me and my fiance have a wedding to plan for. We're trying to figure this out in our lives. Like, let's do this. Let's focus on this, and then like the next year, let's go back to racing World Cups. Like one of my things is I don't want to let it be like a one-shot hoorah.
Mm-hmm.
I just want to go back and see, just to remind myself how hard it was.
Yeah.
And it'd be like, okay, so this is why I want to get faster than what I am.
Yeah.
But yeah, my fiance, she just got a job out in California, and we figured that out like a week ago. And this whole trip that I have being in Michigan was like planned months ahead of time. So we figured out a week ago that we're moving to California. This week I will be in Michigan for a whole week. When I get back from here, I pack up a 4-bedroom house into a pod and plan on moving into a 450 square feet with 6 bikes and 2 cats.
Oh my gosh.
And a wife.
So you're, oh, I thought you were on the way to the West Coast. But
oh no,
so
I gotta go back and pack.
to Virginia and pack. Okay.
I still gotta pack.
Okay.
We got a lot to do. There's a lot going on. It's like half of all last week was just trying to find an apartment.
Yeah.
It's like, I don't have time to ride bikes. I need to find a place to live.
Well, I think the riding out there is phenomenal, though.
That's what I've been hearing. I've never been.
I think you have to buy a big bike, like a big old travel, like
I have one.
Marin County.
Yeah, I'm bringing it. I should start riding some Marins. I don't know. They're like right across the bay. I'm gonna probably see everyone that works there a lot.
Yeah.
So. That and Specialized is right down the road, and so is Ibis. Everyone's around there.
Yeah, for sure. But that's cool. So next year, are you going to try to do every single XCM race or just do a couple other? I do like your thought, though, because I think it would be a shame to just do 1 year and then be like, okay, I did my year and that's it. Mm-hmm. Because you do learn things and you do gain wisdom.
And you want to be able to put it towards the next time.
Correct.
And that's definitely like.
And I feel like the anxiety, the questions, the whatever, like you're like, nah, I've done this. I mean, my legs might be different. My training may have changed, but like I know that I can get to the finish.
Yep.
And that's a huge hurdle that you've already done. You've done more work now than 90% of athletes have done, and now it's just up to you to get faster.
Pretty much, yeah. It's kind of one of those wild things where it's like you get this level and it's like, oh yeah, I'm pretty fast. Oh no, I'm not. Oh, I'm a really small fish in a very big pond, and there's sharks out here. There's very large sharks, and I'm a minnow. I'm just living, man. I'm just trying to live. But man, yeah, it's like I said, it's like I wanna get back. I think after doing all of them, trying to do every single one and like travel back and forth was too much. Like just to travel alone is what I think really wore out just my body. So I've kind of decided it's like I will try and do at least one World Cup, and if I can't, no sweat off my back, but Worlds is definitely on the list.
Okay.
100% to do. Like that one I'm not going to let get away from me. And it's like, it's also another thing that I've been thinking is like, I'm moving to a whole new area. I'm moving out west. There's bikepacking trips I want to do, man. There's races out there I want to go do. And it's like, I'm really good at technical skill at this point from being from Virginia, but I don't really have like, the power. And I have a feeling all these guys are going to have the power. So it's going to be a whole new learning experience again. So we're going to have a great time.
Yeah. It'll be, I think it'll be a cool opportunity for you to be out there and new riding, new trail.
Mm-hmm.
any hesitation about not being as close to your coach? You feel like that's gonna I would assume that there's a bit of accountability when you're like, shoot, I might see him, you know, in real life tomorrow. So I got to make sure that I
need to kick my butt if I'm not doing something right. Yeah, no, he'll call me and definitely chew me out for not doing something. You know, I'm super bummed that I'm not going to be able to ride with him as much as I get to now. Yeah. Like, we always go out and just do some really dumb, awesome, big ride that's just, it's 10 out of 10. Like, what, you can't complain about like hanging out with a friend and like just riding bikes and enjoying yourself. Like, it's a great time. And honestly, those are one of my, I'm bummed that I'm going to be away from everyone, but I mean, hopefully it's not for forever. And I'm sure I'm going to meet people out in San Francisco that will want to do the exact same thing. Yeah, somebody out there wants to do something real big and dumb.
Yeah, absolutely. Speaking of California, next April, Sea Otter, which is an hour south, maybe a little more than an hour south.
I think it's like 2.5.
Nah, it's not 2.5. It's less than 2. I make that drive often, but like
I have no idea. So, I've never been.
It's you should go. You should.
No, that's the plan.
You should race Fuego XL, which I've done quite a few times, and we'll be there. We have a booth, but that's a fun time.
Yeah, I mean, that was on my list of things. I kind of want to, like I said, we're moving out there here in a week. We have to fly back for our wedding. And then after that, I'm going to give myself like a period of time to just get used to the trails, get used to the area, get used to the weather, get used to the temperature, and then also just get used to absolutely destroying myself on a bike and really just put my nose to the grindstone and just go for it. And I mean, if I get sick, if something happens, roll with the punches. It's what you just got to do. But at the same time, it's like my focus is just to get as fast as I can. And I'm not going to do a race until like maybe February, March. So probably, honestly, Sea Otter will be like one of my first real, let's find out how this goes.
Yeah, man.
See what's up.
I like it.
Probably by that point, I'm going to be a little jumpy because I'm going to be like, I haven't seen anyone else on a bike in a couple months because I probably just ride way too much by myself at like 10 o'clock in the morning.
Well, Mark, this is awesome. I mean, it's been cool to kind of watch you from afar, but then to hear about more. And I feel like we didn't really like get into huge details, but
there's a bunch that I can talk about. Especially, I can go into like all the detail about Brazil. I mean, there was guys with AK-47s and all sorts of stuff going on that one. It was wild.
Were they just guards or police?
The big thing is we were trying to leave Rio de Janeiro and we were driving out. And none of us in our crew, because I went out with like all the Americans because this was Pan American Championship. So like all the Americans were kind of like, hey, let's kind of do this together.
So because at this point you had a little bit more of a community.
I found a crew.
Good.
It was great. We found people. It wasn't like Novia Mesta where I just showed up. It was like, hi, my name's Mark. I'm here. This one was a little better, but yeah, we kind of failed to get any like pesos or whatever their currency is.
Sure.
Obviously, because I don't know what their currency is. But we learned the hard way that all their credit cards are tied to their social security numbers. And since we weren't a Brazilian citizen, our social security number wasn't tied and it didn't work.
So you couldn't even use a credit card?
Couldn't use a credit card. And we showed up to like a toll booth. And it's like how you get out of Rio. And we showed up there and the lady does not speak English. We try using Google, like, translate.
Yeah.
She doesn't like the phone. She doesn't like hearing us translating through the phone. She's just not having it. And she calls this dude over. And this dude's like AK-47, grenades, sidearm, definitely military. And I'm like, oh, so we're going to jail instantly. Cool beans. Okay, well, this is going to be an interesting trip. Starting out strong. And he, like, walks around, pulls up to the vehicle, puts his arm down and says, just in perfect English, so what's the problem here? And it's like, we thought we were going to jail. We thought we were done. And this dude just perfect English. And then we give him like $50, which I'm pretty sure none of that $50 actually went to the toll booth because we got a ticket for the toll booth anyways. But he got $50 and we got to go to a race.
Yeah. Jeez. It is. I mean, it has to be such a culture shock to go to all these different. I mean, some of the European areas are similar, but still different. I'm sure Czech Republic's much different than
France.
say, France. Yeah. But then Brazil for sure has to be unique in its own right.
Yeah,
for
Brazil
sure.
was super unique. I mean, in Novia Mesto, when I got done with the race, I came back to the hotel, and it was like Euro, like like hockey championships. It wasn't NHL. It was Euro
Sure.
hockey championships for like nations, and Czech was playing. And I'm from the UP, so I'm like into hockey.
Yeah.
I don't speak Czech. I walked into the room. I just sat down and watched. Czechs know how to party, man. These guys were wild. But also at the same time, they loved the fact that a random American that they couldn't communicate with, and I couldn't communicate with them, was just having a great time watching hockey. And honestly, I'm fine with cheering for the Czechs. It was awesome. But that was my post-First World Cup, like, shenanigans, pretty much. Was like, well, I'll just hang out with some random Czechs.
That's amazing. That was one of my favorite times in Germany. We were there for Eurobike, and Austin, who owns KOM, and we were just like, let's go down by the river. There's like kind of a cool area. You can get some beers, and we go down there, and we see all these people in. They're wearing like Turkey, like the flag. They have like the flag draped over them, and they're all like all these huge crowds wearing like jerseys, Turkey, and we're like, what is going on? And we go down by the river, and we realize that it's the Euro football championship. So it's kind of like the World Cup. World Cup? Am I saying that right?
Yeah.
Yeah. But it's the Euro.
The Euro Cup.
The Euro Cup, yeah. And so Turkey was playing, I think, Austria, and that area in Frankfurt had an enormous Turkish population, and they were all down. And outside they had a huge projector projecting the match, and they were just. I mean, you could drink beers out there. They had like some live music, and then. When the match was going, they stopped, and everyone's watching the match and just going nuts
just in it.
And before it was finished, we're like, okay, it's getting late. We jump in an Uber, and the guy in the Uber is Turkish, and he has the match on he's watching it on his phone. And it's like right at the end, and he pulls over and stops. He's like, "I'm sorry, guys, I gotta watch the finish of this," and then he's just going nuts. So, yeah, no, I don't know. It's cool to see like be a part of some of those moments where it's like, oh, this is. I mean, it's just like being in in like Chicago and the Cubs win the World Series or something. You know,
it's
like,
the same thing.
It's the same thing, but it's just it's different, but it's the same. You know,
yeah.
That's awesome. Any other fun stories from your travel adventures?
Whew. I mean, I almost hit a cow in Brazil in the middle of the race. Also, in the middle of the race, we're like going down like this country road, and one of the dudes in front. I mean, most of them speak either Portuguese or Spanish. I think everyone spoke Spanish, but me. I'm the only one that doesn't speak Spanish.
Yeah.
And some dude says something and raises a hand. I'm like, what's going on? All of a sudden, the group just like divides, like the sea parts. There's just a dog chilling out in the middle of the road. He's sleeping. And I'm like, is that dog dead? Like, did we all just like ride around a dead dog? And it was 2 laps. Come back around the next lap. Dog's still sitting in the middle of the road. He's alive. He just does not care. This dog was like so chill. Like, just chilling out, like watching you. Like, you go by and it's like, I'm used to dogs chasing me and coming after me. This guy's just sitting in the middle of the road, like pack of 50 dudes on bikes come by and just partying at the Red Sea, and like dog's just asleep, unbothered, does not care. It's like, where am I? What is going on? This is awesome. I mean, the sights and everything in Brazil was phenomenal. I mean, they had huge, like these granite mountains. Mm-hmm. It was like a 2,000 foot just. You could roll ball down it, and then it would just keep on rolling until eventually it hits like maybe a 1,000-foot cliff and just go. But it's phenomenal just going around exploring, riding your bike, racing, and having fun. It's like eventually I want to get over and like bike pack in every single European country and just I don't know, go do basically what I did in Ireland. Show up with my bike, ride around for like a week, and leave.
Stash your clothes behind a rock.
Yeah, rock, bush, maybe in a tree. Give it to some squirrels. I don't know.
Well, man, I feel like you're living the dream, and you are just having a great adventure as you're doing it. So
Trying.
keep doing it.
Yeah.
Thanks for sharing all your adventures with us.
Thanks for having me on.
And we're gonna ride tomorrow, right?
Oh yeah, we're gonna shred.
You're gonna take it easy on these old man legs, right?
I mean, I have a mountain bike and we're riding gravel, so I don't know how this is gonna go for me.
I rode some of that gravel today. It was freshly graded and soft and thick.
Okay, so turning's gonna be sketchy.
So the mountain bike probably is.
It actually might be good.
It's gonna be good. So
all right, man. All right.
Yeah, see you tomorrow.
See you tomorrow.
Thanks.